Hi everyone, my name is Maria Makis. My group discussed merit pay for our debate, and I'm here today to share my solidified stance. Off to my right, I have my notes, and I also have my questions for our reflection so that I keep on task. So I'm going to go straight into it. So when thinking about merit pay in my debate process and when I was researching it, my stance did not change. I originally thought that it was inequitable, and after all of my research, I still think it's inequitable. Merit pay does not make any space for students who don't fit the total norm for teaching. Merit pay makes it success is one size for all students based on using standardized testing, and I don't think it really encompasses differentiation. And this is seen in a lot of research. This was talked about in the Atlantic article, in the Forbes article, and also in other research that I've done for other classes, including authors like Tomlinson and McCarthy. They all discuss how this merit pay and standardized testing in general, it really puts stress on students and doesn't really teach to the student, which is what a lot of our my classes have taught me in JHU. So it doesn't really look at a student as a whole. It just looks at the student as a standardized test. Also moving on, how does it impact my teaching philosophy? I think this makes me want to be very aware of how I'm teaching to my students. I don't want to just teach them to the test, like so many standardized testing kind of makes it. It makes it about standards and not about students. And I also think looking at the counter argument to our issue, it makes me not want to slack off, because I know the counter argument is there are teachers who don't give it their all, who become lazy and don't try to actually teach to the student. So I think this would always kind of want me to be in reflection, so that my students are always getting the best quality teacher that they can, even though I know I'll always be growing. Moving on to the next question, how will having participated in the debate process affect your actions in the future? I think I don't really foresee a need for me to take an actionable side unless my school says we're going to do this. Then I'll take action and I'll be able to give my research into this. But for right now, in my school, this isn't really a topic of debate at all, and it probably won't happen thus far in my career. So I think this will affect me by just being able to talk soundly about this issue and with research, and kind of have a more holistic image of my stance on this, being able to hear from all sides of it because of this debate, because I've already heard from the other side of this argument. Moving on to my current stance, did any of your teammates make arguments that changed your thinking about this ethical issue? So Camille and Caden, they both discussed how if there was an equitable evaluation system, that merit pay could really be useful. And this means not only just looking at standardized testing, but also observations of teachers, interviewing staff and students to put into place so that the evaluations of the teachers is more holistic. I think all of that is beautiful. And I think if we come into a world where all schools can be provided with enough staff to conduct these evaluations equitably, that could be a really cool idea. I know they got some of these ideas in this research from the Atlantic article. And I thought this was great. But I think in a realistic world, I mean, I work in a Title I school. I don't think we would have enough money to be able to staff evaluation members on administration to evaluate teachers for merit pay. I think that would just be another way to use money that we don't have. In my school, we don't have money for resource teachers. I teach everything. I teach art, music, PE, Hawaiian studies. I teach a lot of it. So I think we first need to look at providing more teachers before we provide merit pay evaluators to the payroll. Let's see. Are there any thoughts about this issue you did not have a chance to share during the debate? No, I think I covered kind of all my points. Success is not one size fits all. I also believe that teaching to the test does not make for lifelong learners, which was my second argument. And then also, I think in general, teachers should just get paid more so that they want to stay in these positions and they don't have to have this like tree looming over their heads. If they do stay or if they do well, they get more money. I think teachers will just teach better if their quality of life is just brought up a little bit more. Let's see. Did the position you defend conflict with your core ethical values? Why or why not? It didn't, or let's see, did the position you defended conflict? Oh, no, it did not conflict with my ethical values whatsoever. This was always something that I thought. I think other issues that we were looking at, like gun violence in schools and bullying, I think maybe in those stances it could have. But with ours, merit pay, I think I'm always going to be a teacher for the teachers and the students. And I think that merit pay makes teaching more about standards and tests and not about teachers or students. So I think, or not I think, this did not conflict with my values. Moving on to impact. How does this ethical issue have an impact on you as an educator? How does it affect your students? So it has an impact on me because it makes me want to be a more holistic teacher. Like I said, a teacher that uses differentiation, like McCarthy and Tomlinson says, so that my students are engaged and motivated to work hard. This impacts my students because I do want to be challenged, and I want the rigor for teaching to be kept up so that I keep growing. But I think creating a stressful environment, like we saw in some of these Denver schools, in one of the articles we read, it just creates more stress for teachers and it takes power away from them. So I think that this impacts my students because I don't want to be a more stressed teacher for them. I want to be ready and prepared to teach them. Do you plan to take action in this related ethical issue? Right, like I said, right now, no. It's not really impacting my day-to-day. Like I said, I'll be able to talk about it if a colleague or a peer talks about it. I'll have a vast sense of knowledge now to be able to provide my sound opinions. But until the day comes that maybe we might have merit pay, I will just take a stance of being able to share my knowledge. If it comes down to the fact that we have to maybe consider merit pay, I'll be able to say, hey, I don't agree with this because it makes teachers more stressed and it takes more power away from the teachers and ultimately disengages the students more because it makes learning more standardized. So yes, that is my solidified stance. This has been a great process, really taught me a lot about debate, which I haven't really done a lot. So thank you. Have a nice evening.